My name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. I live at 3102 Central Hill Road, Acre, Mississippi, 38841. I am currently under attack by Scientology. So, first, let me explain what Scientology is. So, there are more than three dimensions. According to third dimensional math, there are at least 11. I know that there are four sets of three dimensions each. That equals 12. However, we only have the knowledge or the science to determine that there are 11 dimensions. So there are extra dimensions. This is a fact. Uh, we can't see these dimensions because they reside within the particles itself. Inside of the matter in which this universe consists of lie extra dimensions. It looks like inward expansion. So we have biology in this extra dimension, in these extra dimensions. 11 dimensions of biology. So the human genome produces an 11-dimensional humanoid, a ghastly or ghostly looking creature. It's designed to fly, to live in outer space. Uh, we utilize this biology to have an afterlife. It has a head covering with horns that point straight up. We are Anunnaki. That is our bloodline. So Scientology is the practice of utilizing this extra dimensional biology before we die. They remove it from themselves, and they use technology and techniques to turn it into an upper dimensional vehicle. Biologies in which they can drive through the extra dimensions while they are still alive. So first off, I have to explain some aspects of these extra dimensions. They are entangled to our third dimension. So if you remove a piece of extra dimensional biology, no matter where you take it in the universe, you are still in this biology. You still have to experience everything it goes through. What happens is you can't remove energy from the particles in which we consist of. The particle will be destroyed. Space time warps and conforms to ensure this doesn't happen. So as extra dimensional biology, tissues and uh, bones and muscle, as they leave us, space time in between us and this removed body biology shrinks to zero. As it's leaving us, space time is warping and shrinking to zero. Scientology utilizes this entanglement property part of their for part of their technology and techniques. Uh, they have facilities or compounds on Earth. I'm being attacked. They're assaulting me with a worm. So there are facilities or compounds on Earth that house extra dimensional biology. They have storage systems. They they install this biology into a storage system, and from there they interface it to a computer system. Uh, this acts this allows them to communicate with each other. It acts as a phone service. Uh, they can communicate with each other using this technology in their own minds, inside of their head. It's both a visual and auditory phone service. So these facilities also act as a command center. It gives the user the ability to drive their upper dimensions. So they put part of their biology in this storage system, and the other parts of it they turn into alien forms or organisms in which they can drive around in the upper dimensions. Technology also gives them the ability to drive other organisms that are not their own. Drive humans, animals, insects, and worms in any dimension. They can even drive microbial life and viruses. We are being attacked. They are assaulting us with worms, remote controlled parasites, and also uh, other forms of torture and assault. So they have removed, uh, yes, they're using this technology to drive worms through me and my animals. On top of that, they have removed most of our extra dimensional biology. So they have my extra dimensions at remote locations, and it's in multiple pieces. Some of it they have my entire form, so they have my entire biology and some of the levels of some of the dimensions. Yes, they have a full 3 dimensional biology uh, of mine at a remote location, and some of it is in many different pieces. So they are using this extra dimensional biology as a torture device. They can take it to a remote location and they can stick stuff inside of it or reach through it into my 3rd dimension. So they can take it to a remote location and space time warps between me and this removed biology. And they use it to access my 3rd dimension. They're doing things like sticking stuff inside of us, torture objects, just foreign objects, and also technology. They ensure that I hear their voices and see them as they assault me. Yes, they're aliens. Some of these aliens have a more human-like appearance. The closer you get to the 3rd dimension, the more human uh, this biology looks. Plus, there's also this dark matter attached to us that we can't see among the living, but it is attached to us, and it creates a whole nother biology, and it looks very human-like, close to the 3rd dimension. Uh, so right now, they are assaulting me and my animals. I have to make these videos to deter them, to alter their behavior. Yes, Barack Obama is involved, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, most of the entertainment industry, all of the actors, entertainment professionals, uh, several politicians, big business owners, uh, and the media and marketing companies are highly involved in this ordeal. Yes, there are a lot of skull and bones and Freemasons, a lot of big business owners, but MPB. There are people that have worked on Mississippi Public Broadcasting and NPR because that is a station in which I watch a lot, or I used to, and they use this platform to communicate with me. So they had a lot of their people working through this company to communicate with me. The marketing companies, uh, they're big players in Scientology. They're trying to use this technology to invade our privacy and to sell us things. Yes, they're also trying to alter. Yes, they're trying to alter our behavior. They're trying to increase consumerism. So a lot of these big businesses are paying into these marketing companies to practice Scientology on the public. There are facilities on Earth and in outer space that are housing a lot of the public's biology. Yes, Facebook is a big player. They are a big marketing, big player in the marketing industry. See, she's going crazy. They're making us itch uh, with worms and with foreign objects, and they have threatened to remove her brain tissue today. So she is still kind of healthy in her brain area. She can still sleep well and function properly. She is fatigued, weak, uh, but as long as she can sleep well, I'm not as freaked out about it. This is my room. I use it for storage. I used to sleep in here. It used to be different, arranged differently. So I have all my tools and my books and my clothes uh, because they can see the future and they tell me bad things happening. I'm in my bed, which is uh, which is obvious because it's a place where I get stationary. So every time that I get stationary, they set up on me and they start doing things to me. Yes, most of the entertainment professionals are Scientologists. Either they are practicing Scientology or they are getting practiced on. The Scientology community has become uh, an exploitation enterprise. This is a criminal enterprise, organized crime. they force people to practice Scientology to control their behavior or just for entertainment purposes. A lot of these big players in Scientology, they like to keep people. Uh, they call them uh, covenants or uh, so these yeah they turn into big aliens and they keep people under them. I got a Mark Zuckerberg or I got a Bill Gates or I got a Barack Obama under my wing, and they try to control these people's behavior. So it has become an exploitation enterprise. Barack Obama, he's an odd player. I watch his behavior and he acts like he's fighting the good fight, but then he turns around and lets the bad things happen. Like he's got an end game goal, uh, but they are trying to use him. He's letting them use his biology and his authority. Yes, they have tried to get me in trouble. So they have done this to my family, my friends, my coworkers. They have forced assimilation. They forced my people into assimilation to get close to me, to try to make bad things happen, cause accidents, or try to get me in trouble some way. Okay, baby. Talk about I can't go into detail about what these people do. All I know is they are involved in some way. Uh, the truth has been obscured. Uh, I know different people have different levels of authority or control within the Scientology community. Yes, they're doing big business and politics and government agencies. So the CIA has been got, the Department of Justice has been got, the military has been got. They have been forced to assimilate, and a lot of politicians, because these big players in Scientology, they want to control the world. Ever since the '80s, they have been taking over our society in mass. Anybody who has any kind of influence, power, or authority, they get forced to assimilate. They get forced into a hive mind, or they get forced to practice Scientology. And if they don't jihad, if they don't go with the flow and do what these people tell them to do, they just get turned into a surrogate, which means they remove you from your biology and they drive you themselves. Basically, they kill you. They take your life. And they do this a lot. It is what they do. They are conditioned to do this. Yes, the FBI is getting people. Most of the agency has been got. They have been forced into assimilation. And then some of the people uh, with upper levels of clearance, they're the ones getting everybody. The FBI is forcing people into assimilation. So is the CDC, which means they have your biology, at least parts of your biology, in their facilities. And maybe they're letting you practice Scientology, maybe they're not. They're giving you a little alien presence, but they're not letting you get as big as them. They don't let most people that get forced into assimilation. They don't let them gain the power that they have. So in the extra dimensions, we gain special abilities. Fly. Uh, we have powerful eyesight. You have big 11-dimensional eyes that can see in all dimensions down to the molecular level, and we can see molecules interacting with each other, chemical processes and physics playing out with our plain eyes, plain eyesight. And you can also move matter with our mind. So you can look at particles and move them around with just your mind. They call this molecular transfer or magic. Uh, this is if you have all of your 11 dimensions attached. You are, uh, yes, and they can fly. They are invisible to third dimensional humans, so they can come into our environment, modify it. They can make us sick. They can give us wounds. They can assault us. They can contaminate our food and water supply with parasites or contaminants. They can take away our extra dimensions in our food and water, so it's not as it doesn't nourish us as well. Yes, and they can also drive people or persuade people to do things without their knowledge. They can persuade people to do things, which I think is the case with my parents. I don't think my father is a surrogate. I think he was persuaded in some way to name me Christopher. He gave me the name Christopher. That was his choosing. Is they can persuade people to do things like that without their knowledge of it even happening. So they can mind control people with their devices. They can put digital devices in our brains and stimulate uh, our brain and central nervous system. They can isolate individual memories or individual thought patterns and stimulate these memories or thought patterns. So yes, when my dad was choosing a name for me, they probably stimulated the name Christopher, and boom, it popped out. They made him want that, desire that name for me. That is my take on it. As the longer time goes on, the more and more he's more like a surrogate because they have done things like seances or things to me where they assaulted me and had a little party, uh, uh, had a party going on where they were assaulting me, and my dad joined in, started spitting on me, saying the same exact words they were saying. So that's a surrogate. They were controlling his biology in that moment, and he's probably unaware that they are doing this. Yes, my mother must have been gone through the same thing because she named me Robert, and that's part of my name. So my name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. Uh, they controlled the name they controlled my name through making my family, turning my family into surrogates throughout time, getting these people to come mate and have a baby, and then they even controlled the names that these people used. Uh, so my name is, but the initials of my name is an acronym. It stands for Remote Control Worm Woman. It also stands for Remote Controlled Wakinya Witko, which means Remote Control Crazy Thunder Being. Remote Controlled Thunder Being that's gone crazy. That means these aliens have gone crazy and they are remote controlled. Somewhere on Earth, someone is driving these aliens on me. No, the Navy. Most of the people doing this to me is the Navy, Armed Forces, plus the CDC. They had this little ring. They're the people running Scientology. It's government. Government with a few uh, civilians, big business owners, and it's the marketing companies. Marketing company. So the Navy and the National Guard. Just please stay off my animals. All I ask. They have been showing me and torturing my animals. And on top of all of this, if we get artificially stimulated after we die, we have to experience that. So they can take our upper dimensional biology to a remote location, stimulate it after we're dead or after I die. We have to experience everything it goes through. They can animate it. They can make it do things and make us experience things. So they can make it hell. They can torture us, cause us severe pain. And that's what they're planning on doing. That is their goal, their end goal. So they're going to torture me to death and then cause me pain and suffering in the afterlife. And they're going to do the same thing to my family. And it is extreme. It is nasty and disgusting and horrible things that they do. I'm going to leave this going for a few more minutes because it alters their behavior. One of these Scientologists, they just called me a MAGA motherfucker, saying I supported Trump. I do not support Trump. Uh, I supported Bernie Sanders and I supported Barack Obama, but Hillary Clinton and the DNC, they broke the law against Bernie Sanders, which turned me off to her whole agenda. And she was also keeping secrets. I was kind of in the know at the time. Uh, I hang out with the intelligence agencies, so we all seen the same thing. Yeah, we seen the shit go down in Washington. And so what happened was the Democrats broke the law against the Libertarians or Bernie Sanders, and then the vote swung to the next highest population of voters, which was the defense industry. So they got Donald Trump in there to increase defense spending. It has nothing to do with I quit. I jumped out of the race whenever whenever they did that to Bernie Sanders. So he should have been president, but they broke the law against him. And I enjoyed Barack Obama's presidency. However, he changed from the time he was from the time he became elected to the time he got out of office. He was a completely different person, completely different agenda. He become conformed to the status quo, which was this whole Scientology marketing scheme. I could tell something was going on behind the scenes. They were doing something wrong to a lot of people. And the FBI actually got called out on it. Uh, they call it illegal surveillance technology, which is what Scientology is ultimately. I mean, they're using Scientology's technology to invade our privacy, not just for surveillance purposes, but to invade our privacy to try to sell us things. So they are letting our eyesight and our hearing control the algorithms in which we see on social media and the internet using this technology. Either they have our brain tissue in one of their facilities, or they are installing implants, which allows them to see through our eyes and hear through our ears. Yes, I've seen all this going on during Barack Obama's presidency, and that's when this kicked into high gear. They started doing this to the public in mass. Before 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 Facebook or social media, and that came along during Barack Obama's presidency. Before that, it was just the big players in the world, the politicians and the big CEOs. But Barack Obama and the Hillary Clinton uh, uh, regime, they made it legal for these marketing companies to force assimilation or to use this technology on the public in mass just to try to sell us things, just to try to increase consumerism. And that is the only problem I have with what happened, about the whole ordeal. Yes, I enjoy Barack Obama's presidency. He wants to help the people. He wants to help the people become better, provide us health care and basic necessities of life. That is more along the lines with what I believe in than anything else. I have no I have nothing against Donald Trump, and I have nothing for Donald Trump. Uh, he is the product of some bad politics. Hillary Clinton made it obvious what she was doing to the public. Backdoor speeches, these private speeches, and all this hiding all of her, hiding all the evidence. Uh, I think that no matter who is president, we should support them, help them try to do better. That is how reality works. The science tells us that we need to help someone become a better person for them to make better decisions. Maybe he needs to be smarter, or maybe you need to persuade his ideas or help him gain some new conditioning that helps him make better decisions for the public. You can't just tear someone down and expect them to be a better person, which is what we're seeing with Donald Trump, which is what we've seen in both of his elections. They tear him down big time and they expect him to make better decisions for us. I also have to say this that uh, the people that has been forced to assimilate, someone else has possession of their body parts, of their extra dimensions, and they are still in that biology. So it's also a sort of extortion or some kind of hostage situation in which they could lose life or health and even have a bad afterlife experience if they don't jihad, if they don't do what this regime or this Scientology community tells them to do. Yes, it's like that for everybody in Scientology at the moment. If they get your extra dimensions, they have control over you. No matter where you go in the universe, you can't outrun it because of this entanglement property. They can take your extra dimensions, and no matter where you go in the universe, they can just pick it up and treat it like a voodoo doll, start poking it or jabbing it or remove brain tissue from it, make you sick. Yes, it's because I'm native. My Native American bloodline got me ordained. It brought about a behavior that is not conducive to normal American behavior. So I am a descendant of Lakota people, Plains Indian people, and we are very politically active, or have been in the past. We like literature and music and helping people and the environment. So I can feel that in my genetics. I have a genetic disposition that forces me to think that way. We understand life. We understand the environment and what it does to people within that environment. Yes, I am part Native American. Native American name is Crazy Bird or St. Whitco. It means the thunder beings have gone crazy.